Good afternoon, dear listeners and viewers of Equinoxe Radio and Television. Thank you so much for joining me on this edition of your favorite health program, You're in Your Health, at on Equinoxe Radio Multimedia. Today, the world observes Menstrual Hygiene Day, a day dedicated to raising awareness on the importance of menstrual health and equally breaking silence surrounding menstruation. Though menstruation is a natural part of a woman's life, many girls and women still face stigma, shame, and equally discrimination because of their periods. Today, we are going to be discussing menstruation, the myth and equally breaking taboos surrounding menstruation. And to answer our questions on that, we'll be receiving a sexual health specialist who goes by the name Marivon. Good day, good day. It's a pleasure having the program today.
Good day, Ima. Same here. It's a pleasure to be on stage with you today.
You are a woman. And we know the word menstruation is very common, especially again as a sexual health specialist. Can you explain to us what menstruation is all about and why does it occur in women and girls?
Okay. So menstruation is actually the shading of the uterine lining. We call it the endometrium. And this happens because estrogen and progesterone level the drops. And when this happens, it's actually a shading of the uterine lining which flows out as blood and uterine tissues. And this occurs as a signal that the body is already at a reproductive age and also in preparation for the next cycle.
And now, at what time does this menstruation occur, and what changes takes place in the woman's body?
Generally, it's common for menstruation to begin between the age of 10 to 15. Most teens, they experience what we call the menarche. Some people pronounce as a menarche. That is the first menstrual experience between the ages of 10 to 15. And some of the experiences that someone can experience or young girls experience when they start menstruating, we have pubic features. They're having pubic hairs, hairs on their genital areas. We have hairs on their arms. Some start developing hips. Some, of course, the breasts start enlarging. Oh, we can't keep aside mood swings. They start feeling like sometimes they are sad, sometimes they are happy, sometimes they are just anxious for nothing because the hormone serotonin is overactivated. So these are some of the changes that happens internally and externally in the young girls when they start menstruating.
Now, when it comes to menstruation, the ages varies. We have girls who menstruate at the age even at 8. We have others who menstruate at the age of 9 and above. Now, when is the right time for parents to sit down their children or girls and tell them about menstruation?
When it comes to menstrual education, we always advise parents to start much more earlier. To me, I think as an educator, sexual specialist and sexual educator, I advise parents to start talking to them about 4. They may not understand, they may not understand what you're saying at that time. But the continuous repetition of that word start making sense to them as they age. Because you may not know when they will start menstruating. Especially now with a lot of digital development and all that. Their children will menstruate at 8. So if you're waiting to start educating your child at the age of 10, you may be too late to start. So it's good to start talking to them at the age of 4. This is what I do with my siblings. You start telling them about menstruation, menstrual health, and all the like at the age of 4. And as they are progressing, you increase the teaching. So at that time, when it comes, they won't be surprised.
It's very normal that menstruation is a natural phenomenon. But then, menstruation is still surrounded by silence, stigma. We even have girls who, during their first menses, they're even scared to speak up to their parents. Why do you think this is the case?
Thank you very much for that question, Emma. It's actually called for concern. Now, this happens because first, the absence of right knowledge of education. Some religion or some culture, they see menstruating women as a taboo. So now, when you've not been educated or when you find yourself in such an environment and you realize that you're menstruating, you'll be like, what is happening to me? I'm about to experience this shame, this humiliation. You become scared. So this happens because there's an absence of open discussion. When there is no open discussion, people to talk about menstruation, when families fail to call a family dialogue to educate about menstruation, it brings about stigma because as a young lady, when you start menstruating, like we have the experience, you've never heard someone talking about it in your home. You'll be like, you'll be shy, you'll be confined, scared to yourself. You'll not be open enough to speak out. So this happened because, one, there is an absence of education. Also, there is no friendship. When a child has parental friendship, there is no way you will be afraid to express what you're feeling or what you have inside of you.
Parents.
So one of the reasons why there's much stigma is because there is absence of friendship. When you have much love back from home and education, no matter what people say outside, it won't affect you that much.
Of course.
When you realize that back home, there is no support, you're emotionally empty or lonely, the stigma behind there will definitely get you stranded.
Course. And for those who would like to participate in today's edition of the program and ask questions about menstruation, you're the contact 670-5470-49. I repeat, 670-5470-49 or 656-622222. 656-622222. Back to you, Marivon. We talked about religion and equally some customs. We have, let's say, some customs. When a woman is menstruating, she doesn't have the right to prepare food for her husband. And in others, like religion, when you're menstruating, you can't go and pray. I don't want to mention the exact thing, but then, medically speaking, is there any truth to what these people are talking about?
No. All what you're saying are just mythical beliefs. Now, what is menstruation? In simple words, menses, it's you.
Yes.
It's you removing you. Because what is shedding out is actually the uterine lining, which is part of you. If we remove uterus from 20 women, 20 different uterus, and we take it to the lab, if we do DNA testing, we will be able to pick out which uterus belongs to who, even without seeing you.
Wow.
Yeah. That's to show that your uterus, it's you. So the menses and tissue shedding out, it's actually you. So there is no way this makes you impure. It's like your skin having your blood. So you are not impure. Now, people need to understand that menses or menstruation is not a disease that can be transmittable.
Okay.
You are not being infected and you cannot infect someone. So the idea of a woman who is menstruating is impure, the woman cannot cook, because I've seen cases where I was talking to a woman on my way coming, I was trying to educate her about menstruation, and I was like, I had a first-hand experience of a guy going to buy food along the road. He asked the lady, are you menstruating? And the girl said, why are you asking? He said, because you're menstruating, I cannot eat a woman's food that is menstruating.
Wow.
The woman menstruating is very dirty, and I
goodness.
felt really bad. You know, we have mythical thinking and beliefs that we have inherited from the days of old. Most of our parents grew without scientific knowledge, without proper research.
Yeah.
So in essence, a woman that is menstruating is not impure. She's not dirty. She is as healthy as a woman who isn't menstruating. Nothing have changed. Nothing missing, nothing broken.
We have seen cases, let's say in schools or in public places, where girls who accidentally stain their clothes during their periods become subject of mockery in this part of the country. How can this affect the girls' mental health?
First of all,
I think we have a call on the line. We'll come back to that question. Hello?
Hello, madam.
Yes. Good afternoon, madam.
Please, I want to ask about when you have menstrual cramps. What causes you to have menstrual cramps?
Okay. Thank you, madam. You got her question. She was talking about menstrual cramps. When you have menstrual cramps, how can you aid it to subside? I think we'll be coming back to that question. But anyways, just answer before we answer the other questions then.
Okay, now I understand the caller might be expecting me to say buy this, buy that, buy that.
Of course.
I don't advise over-the-counter drugs or self-medication. If you're menstruating and you have menstrual cramps, by the way, you need to understand that it is normal to have menstrual cramps. The issue now might be how severe the menstrual cramp is. Now, if you're having a menstrual cramp, it's normal. Your uterus lines, they are shading, they are breaking down. You know, it's like you trying to prune your fingers with blades. You know, it has to hurt a little. So, but if it hurts that much, that's what the problem is. There, you should go to the hospital, go see a medical professional. They should evaluate to see how much the cramp is, and they will know what to give you. I can't tell you buy this, buy that, or go take this, go that. In medicine, we don't advise self-medication. So the best thing you need to do is go see a gynecologist, see a doctor, or see a nurse. Don't go to a pharmacy. Don't go to a chemist to buy the counter drugs. Go for proper consultation. They will evaluate what's actually causing the cramp. If it is normal, then they will know what to give you.
When nurse talking about pain, I think I was discussing one time with a friend, and she was telling me that she has extreme pain. She had to go and consult with the gynecologist. Gynecologist told her she's fine, that is just something normal. But then the pain she experiences for about 3 days, because she has a menstrual cycle of about 5 days. The pain she experiences for 3 days is extreme. But I've told her in the hospital it's normal. But then when she goes to over-the-counter drugs, I don't want to name any drug here, she says the pain subsides. Okay. In this case, should she have to endure that pain, whereas there are drugs to calm such a pain?
Now, the issue here is, the first question is, for how long will she continue to take the painkillers? There is, if she's having excruciating pain every month, then there's a factor causing that pain. Okay. So even when the patient does maybe echography, let me just say that, sometimes we also advise to do hysteroscopy. That is the examining of the uterus itself. You know, in advanced countries, they have more sophisticated equipment that they do advanced checkups that maybe here we are limited. Wow. In that case, we still need to investigate more to know what is causing it. But then, that being said, there are people, I've seen people, when I was in dormitory school, I had a dormitory mate of mine, she had no issue, but it was just her own method of menstruating. So instead of taking over the counter drugs, look, you can look for home remedies to subside.
What are some of them? Tell us more about
something you can
remedies.
just take normal warm water.
Normal warm water.
It's a game changer.
Wow. In the morning?
In the morning, the afternoon, the evening, it doesn't have a protocol. Okay. Even bitter cola. You know, we minimize this thing, but it works. Wow. I don't want to call most people start taking it as a daily habit, which is very wrong. Okay. But this can also aid menstrual cramps. Sometimes the things you do, what you eat while menstruating also counts a lot. Like? For example, if you're eating sugary stuff when you're menstruating, you can be prone to have cramps, even though not immediately, maybe in future. If you don't eat rightly while menstruating, we are still to come to that.
Yes,
in
for
that
sure,
part. Yeah.
For sure. Now, we're talking, let's just continue in the heart of the menstruation fever. Now, when you are menstruating, how important is hygiene?
During menstruation, hygiene is very important.
I think we'll have a call on the line. We'll come back to hygiene. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Can you turn off your receiver, please? Turn off your TV or radio set.
Yes. Please.
Oh, good.
Yes, I want to ask a question, please.
Go ahead.
Yes. The woman said that menstrual cycle of a woman cannot affect, or let's say cannot affect somebody else, like a man. I want to ask, can a man have sexual intercourse with a woman during the menstrual cycle?
Of course. Okay. Okay, thank you so much for participating in the program.
I was actually expecting that
question. I myself, I was waiting for that question.
I knew it would come somehow.
Of course.
Now, here is the thing. Yes, you can have intercourse while menstruating. I've had couples excuse who come like, my wife refused to have intercourse because of menstruation. Is it normal? Is there any issue? Now, you can have intercourse, but with precaution. Because intercourse during menstruation exposes the woman to a lot of infection. Wow. There is a possibility of an STI, sexually transmitted infection, because blood can carry it in. You know, though there is an opening, blood is flowing out, there's also a possibility for infections to run through. So if you must have intercourse during menstruation, a lot of precautions needs to be put in place. First of all, you people need to take your bath before intercourse, which is very normal. Yes. Use barriers like condoms. And now, it also depends on the products the woman is using, because there are different menstrual products. There are menstrual cups, there are tampons. If the woman is using an internal product like menstrual cups, she needs to take it out.
Okay.
She needs to. You cannot have intercourse when there's a menstrual cup in there or a tampon in there. You are exposing that woman to her death sentence. So if it is an internal menstrual product she's using, she needs to remove it before you continue what you want to do. But you need to understand that you could also be at risk of infection. She might infect you. You too could also infect her.
Okay.
And the things you are using, your hands and all that, it lays a suitable foundation for infection. So precaution needs to be taken.
For those who...
And please, let me add, there's also a risk of pregnancy. But there are people who get pregnant while menstruating. Wow. You know, not all sperms dies down 3 days after intercourse. Some exceed up to 5 days. So there's also a risk of pregnancy.
So the 14-day doesn't work in this case?
For everybody, period cycle differs. It varies within persons. Okay. There are people who get pregnant while menstruating. I've had women who be like, but I had intercourse when I was menstruating. How come I got pregnant? I was like, that's the thing. Some people actually get pregnant when they have intercourse while menstruating. So it's not an escape route. Okay. For everybody.
We see. And now let's look at hygiene. How important or primordial is hygiene when it comes to menstruation?
Hygiene during menstruation is as important as it is for a newborn baby.
Wow.
Because first of all, when you are menstruating, what happens is that during menstruation, your estrogen level and progesterone, they dropped. That's why your uterus have shaded. Hormones are involved. Now during menstruation, your immune system is a little bit lower. You are exposed. You become vulnerable. Any little thing you do could affect your health. So there are hygiene tips a woman needs to employ during menstruation. I should just list them.
Yes, for sure.
1, wash your hands before changing your pad. I was talking to a lady and she was like, what I need to wash my hands? It's not my hands. Listen, one of the most habituous roots of bacteria are our hands.
Okay.
Yeah. You need to wash your hands because the hands you're taking in might be having bacteria that will go and infect you. You wash your hands before and after changing your pad. Another thing is you change your pad at most, not at least.
Okay.
At most 4 to 6 hours. That is the highest time a pad should be on you is 4 to 6 hours. But I often tell women change as soon as it's full. Because there are people whose pads might get full 1 hour or maybe an hour 30 minutes. You won't wait till 4 hours. Because here's the thing: when mucus stay in a particular environment for long, they begin to breathe for bacteria to grow. So leaving your pad there for too long, what you're doing is that menstruation which is yours now sets a space for bacteria to go and will infect you. In hygiene, we also advise you bathe. It prevents odor. And in bed, you use clean water.
How often should you bathe?
If you're menstruating, so it's okay. You don't need to overwash up to avoid irritation and friction. So it's okay. And you don't take water in outside. So someone will be like, no, there's blood inside. Let me remove. They need to remove the blood. The vagina itself will bring it outside. So you just clean the external part with water and you're good to go. And now, for those who are using towels and napkins, some of us grew up with our mothers and they taught us to use napkins and towels. That is not the issue. The main problem now is how well do you take care of those products? If you're using a product that you need to reuse, like napkins and towels, you need to wash them. Take them to the sun. I've seen people be like, I don't want people to see what I'm using. The color is not good. If the color is not good, get a new one. But that's a signal, you know. So you wash them, take them to the sunlight. It's not for fancy. That sun is to make sure that it helps to treat. Sun exposure is part of treatment. You take them to the sun, you press, and you also, where you store it matters. You could press, sterilize, yet you store in a place that is dirty, it will definitely infect you. So it's important to practice good hygiene while menstruating so that you avoid infection. Also drink a lot of water and eat rightly. No sweet things, drink a lot of water, take fruits, take vegetables. They help to boost your immune system and replenish you. Because when you're menstruating, your body is losing a lot. It's not just blood. What you're losing is not just empty blood. That blood carries life, it carries nutrients, it carries calories, it carries so you need to replenish your body for it not to shake and break down.
In some countries, menstrual pads are given out for free to girls and women, but in the case of Cameroon, it's not free. And also, you may go to a public space, let's say a toilet, and you can't even find a pad available. In such a context, can we say the government has failed when it comes to giving a helping hand to women and girls in such something that is very natural and very important for us?
Yes. I think at one point the government is actually failing us in this area. I was talking to a man today on my way coming. I was like, why should we hospitals be doing campaign for World AIDS Day and we are sharing free condoms?
And we are not sharing pads.
And we are not sharing pads.
Okay, yes.
Sex is a voluntary something.
Yes.
And I was like, if we can give condoms to people that want to voluntarily feed themselves and their anxieties, then why shouldn't we give help to people who have things that is involuntary? I don't think any woman would like to menstruate. I don't like to menstruate either, but I cannot stop it. So this, I think we need help. We need help. I think the government needs to see a way to help us. One woman, one pad. There are people whom the economy is not actually smiling on them. That 500 francs to buy pad,
it's 700, some cases even 1,000. So thank you so much, Marivon, for being part of the program today.
Thank you very much, Emma.
I equally want to thank Bertrand Bonzini and Jonathan Babiola for their technical expertise. And from us right here in the studio to you over there, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day in the company of interesting programs on Equinoxe Radio and, of course, television. Bye-bye for now.